They came asking for surrender. Humanity responded with the galaxy's greatest war. Out past the asteroid belts of Mars, near the edge of human-controlled territory, a shadow fell over the solar system. From the dark void of interstellar space came shapes unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Immense alien warships, gleaming with strange energy fields and angular designs that no human engineer could have imagined. They hung in the void, silent and terrifying, as if the entire galaxy had paused to watch them. In New Geneva, the capital of the United Earth Government, alarms screamed. Military commanders, diplomats, and scientists crowded around screens that showed the alien vessels in orbit. The ships were enormous, larger than any human battleship, sleek and cold, their surfaces radiating a soft, almost menacing glow. A calm voice spoke over the government intercom. Yet it carried a weight that chilled every listener. Humanity had faced many threats before: asteroid collisions, rogue AI experiments, alien probes, but nothing like this. This was not a test, a negotiation, or a probe. This was a declaration of supremacy. The overlords expected submission. Across the galaxy, other civilizations watched. Few dared approach human space. Most believed Earth's species was weak, chaotic, and unprepared. The overlords were confident. After all, every species they had encountered had surrendered without question. The galaxy had grown used to humans being unremarkable. That belief was about to be shattered. In the war room, General Alara T. Keen paced back and forth. Her face was lined with tension, but her eyes burned with determination. She had seen humanity survive impossible odds before, in smaller conflicts at the fringe of the colonies. She turned to the council, her voice firm. "Prepare the fleet. Mobilize our defenses. This is not negotiation, it's survival." Some politicians murmured doubts. Scientists argued that the overlords were thousands of years ahead in technology. Humanity's conventional weapons might not even scratch them. Yet General T. Keen remained unwavering. "We may not survive, but we will not kneel. That is who we are," she said. The first skirmish came quickly. Small overlord scout ships darted toward Mars' orbit, firing weapons that sent electromagnetic pulses across human communication arrays. At first, Earth's defenses faltered. Satellites flickered, orbital stations shuddered, and human soldiers scrambled to respond. Then something unexpected happened. Human ingenuity, improvisation, and sheer courage turned the tide. Fighter squadrons launched from the Moon and Mars' orbit, performing maneuvers no alien pilot expected. They dodged energy blasts, exploited blind spots in the overlord ships' formations, and struck with precision. One squadron, led by Captain Ramon Vega, managed to destroy an entire scout formation using a combination of gravity slingshots around Mars and asteroid debris. The overlords were shocked. Their doctrine did not prepare them for unpredictability. On Earth, the population watched through news feeds and broadcasts. People across continents felt fear, but also an unfamiliar pride. Humanity, small and isolated, had dared to fight back. Children, workers, and civilians huddled around screens, whispering to each other in awe. "They can't believe we are fighting back, and we are winning." The alien message came again, harsher this time. Surrender or face annihilation. Human scientists and engineers had been working tirelessly in secret. Using captured alien probes, reverse-engineered technology, and advanced AI, they developed weapons systems that no one had expected. Hidden facilities across the solar system hummed with activity: orbital railguns, energy shields, and automated defense networks. Humanity had prepared, quietly, for years. In orbit over Earth, Admiral Liu Wei watched the Overlord fleet massing for an attack. She understood the risks. One mistake, one miscalculation could mean the end of the species. Yet she also knew humanity's strength was not just in weapons, it was in creativity, adaptability, and courage. She smiled grimly. They think they can scare us. They have no idea what humanity is capable of. Meanwhile, on the outer colonies, life had been disrupted overnight. Settlements on Mars, Titan, and distant asteroids went on high alert. Families evacuated, miners paused operations, and communication lines lit up with messages of support and strategy. Young pilots trained under extreme conditions, often risking their lives just to deliver supplies or reinforce defenses. Every human, from engineer to soldier, became part of the fight. Humanity had become a single, united organism, facing the largest threat it had ever seen. Captain Vega prepared his squadron for another strike. His co-pilot, Layla, checked the ship's systems. The hum of the engines and the blink of the radar screens were strangely comforting amidst the chaos. "Do you ever wonder if we'll actually win?" she asked, her voice tense but steady. Vega shook his head, smiling faintly. "Winning isn't the point. Surviving is. And if they think humans go down without a fight, they'll learn." Their squadron launched into the black void, weaving through enemy formations with daring maneuvers. In one bold move, they used the gravitational pull of Jupiter to slingshot behind an Overlord cruiser, striking a vital energy core. The ship exploded in a brilliant flash, sending fragments spinning into space. It was a small victory, but a signal to the galaxy. Humanity would not surrender. The overlords, frustrated by human resistance, convened their command fleet. "This species, they defy all reason," their commander hissed in the alien language. "Every tactic fails. They are chaotic, unpredictable, dangerous." Back on Earth, the news of human victory spread like wildfire. Governments of neutral planets began sending secret messages to humanity, some to ally, some to observe, all astonished. The image of small, stubborn humans standing against an empire inspired whispers across star systems. In the United Earth government, the council gathered again. President Amelia Sarkis spoke with quiet authority. "Let them think that. Let them watch while we prepare. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not beg. Humanity fights." Her words were broadcast to every colony, every station, and every citizen listening. Across planets and moons, humans felt a renewed strength. Even as the Overlord's massive fleet advanced, morale remained high. They had faced worse odds before. They would face worse odds again, and they would survive. As night fell over Earth, Vega's squadron returned. They had lost ships, lost friends, but they had inflicted damage the Overlords had not expected. For the first time, the alien commanders hesitated. Humanity was no longer a minor species. They were a wild, unpredictable force. In the distant reaches of space, the Overlord Armada gathered, thousands of warships forming a massive spear aimed directly at Sol. Their goal was clear: total domination. But humanity had learned something that even the galaxy's greatest empire had overlooked. Humans were clever, brave, and willing to die for their home. The stage was set. The first blows had been struck, but the war was only beginning. Humanity would not kneel. Humanity would not surrender. The galaxy, so confident in its superiority, was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. And somewhere in the darkness of space, Vega whispered to himself as he gazed at the stars. "They found us." The Overlord fleet loomed across the edge of human space, a river of black ships stretching farther than any human eye could see. Thousands of vessels, each bristling with weapons and energy shields, moved with perfect coordination, an unstoppable tide ready to crush Earth and its colonies. But humanity was no ordinary target. Every human heart, every hand, every mind had been called to defend their species, and they were ready. In the orbital command station above Mars, Admiral Liu Wei stared at the holographic display of the approaching armada. Her fingers traced patterns in the air, plotting defensive lines, strike routes, and evacuation protocols. Every plan was layered with contingencies. Human ingenuity demanded it. They think strength is numbers, she muttered. They forget humans fight smarter, not just harder. The first phase of humanity's counteroffensive began with precision. Small squadrons of human fighters struck at overlord supply ships, weaving through asteroid belts and using gravity wells to gain sudden bursts of speed. They did not aim to destroy the fleet outright. That was impossible. They aimed to cripple, confuse, and slow. Captain Ramon Vega led one of these squadrons, darting through the rings of Saturn like shadows. His co-pilot Layla scanned for enemy vessels while monitoring shields and weapons. "We've got 3 incoming cruisers," she said. "They're heading straight for the supply convoy." Vega grinned, adrenaline surging. "Then we'll greet them. Let's show them humans don't just run." Using a daring maneuver that leveraged Saturn's massive gravity, Vega's squadron slingshotted behind the cruisers, striking from blind angles. The human pilots moved unpredictably, weaving between moons, debris, and energy blasts, forcing the overlords to split their attention. One cruiser exploded in a shower of sparks, debris scattering across the void. Vega's squadron cheered over comms, but the joy was tempered. They knew each victory cost human lives. Back on Earth, news of the strike spread quickly. Humans across planets and colonies cheered, inspired by the bravery of the pilots. Families and workers volunteered for military service, engineers pushed forward with new weapons, and scientists accelerated research on alien technology. Humanity's spirit was infectious. Even neutral species in the galaxy began sending messages of support or curiosity. The overlords, however, did not see it coming. In a dark hall aboard the Overlord flagship, Supreme Commander Viharek studied the reports. The humans were unpredictable, chaotic, and dangerous. "Every tactic fails," he hissed, tentacles brushing the control panels. "They fight like nothing we've ever seen. They use the environment, they improvise, they are terrifying." One of his lieutenants, smaller and trembling, replied, "Commander, perhaps we should negotiate." "Offer them terms again." Viharek's gaze turned icy. "Negotiation is weakness. They must be crushed, all at once. But mark my words, these humans will be remembered." Humanity's counteroffensive continued to escalate. Using captured alien probes and reverse-engineered technology, scientists on Luna developed energy disruptors that could temporarily disable Overlord shields. Engineers on Titan rigged massive orbital railguns to fire with unmatched precision. On Mars, human strategists orchestrated ambushes using asteroid fields as cover and surprise attack points. The galaxy had never seen a species fight like this. Captain Vega prepared for another mission. His squadron was smaller now. Losses had been heavy, but morale was high. "Every strike counts," he said as his team ran through final checks. Layla nodded. "And every move scares them. I can feel it." Their target was a forward Overlord base, a massive station orbiting a gas giant. It was critical for enemy logistics, and humanity planned to strike fast. They approached silently, using shadows cast by the gas giant's swirling storms to mask their movement. Vega signaled the squadron, "On my mark. Remember, we're ghosts. Hit and vanish." The strike was swift and brutal. Energy disruptors disabled the base's shields, and railgun fire tore through its structure. Human pilots darted in and out, striking key control points, then retreating before the Overlord fleet could respond. By the time reinforcements arrived, the base was crippled, its resources lost, its crew forced to flee. The Overlords were enraged. They could not comprehend humanity's tactics. Every move was unexpected, every counterstrike inventive. Their commanders were trained for precision, discipline, and overwhelming force, but humans thrived in chaos. Their unpredictability became their greatest weapon. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Other species, long oppressed by the overlords, began to take notice. Some sent covert supplies to humanity. Some began training their own forces, inspired by human courage. Humanity was no longer a minor species. They were a spark of rebellion, lighting hope across star systems. On Earth, the United Earth government worked tirelessly. Scientists, engineers, and military planners collaborated like never before. Every citizen had a role: communication networks, supply chains, intelligence gathering, and defense. Humanity's home system became a fortress, a web of defenses and traps, ready for the next stage of the war. Meanwhile, deep in enemy space, Viewership convened a council of overlord generals. They debated strategies, each more brutal than the last, but nothing could suppress the fear creeping into their ranks. Humans were resilient, clever, and terrifyingly fast learners. Every engagement revealed new tactics. The overlord's arrogance faltered. Viewership banged a claw on the table. "Send the Black Fleet, crush them, leave no survivors." The Black Fleet was a legendary armada equipped with experimental weapons and elite soldiers. Their arrival promised devastation, but humans had prepared. Intelligence units had anticipated their approach, laying traps across key star systems, turning even the vacuum of space into a battlefield. Human pilots prepared for the Black Fleet's arrival with grim determination. Captain Vega's squadron volunteered for one of the most dangerous missions yet: infiltrate the fleet, disable command ships, and survive against overwhelming odds. Each pilot knew the risks. Few expected to return, but all believed in the mission. As they launched, Vega looked out at the stars. "This is more than survival. This is what makes us human. We fight no matter the cost, and they will never forget us." Their mission unfolded with precision, courage, and sacrifice. Vega and Layla led daring maneuvers, weaving through enemy defenses, striking vital command nodes, and drawing the attention of elite overlord units. Many human fighters were lost, but the impact was devastating. The Black Fleet's coordination faltered, communications were disrupted, and panic spread. The overlords were beginning to understand something humanity had always known: they could not be controlled, not easily, not at all. Across human colonies, civilians contributed in ways both small and large. Engineers rigged asteroid belts with explosive charges, scientists improved targeting systems, and logistics teams ensured fighters were always fueled, armed, and ready. Humanity was not just a military force. It was a single, coordinated species fighting for its survival. The galaxy watched, astonished. Even neutral species began reporting sightings of human fleets striking deep into enemy territory, daring missions that should have been impossible. The legend of humanity grew. Humans did not just fight. They inspired, shocked, and terrified their enemies. Viewership's fury grew. The overlords had expected surrender. They had not expected resistance, let alone ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability. Every loss, every unexpected strike, chipped away at their confidence. The humans were changing the rules of war. They were rewriting the galaxy's understanding of what a species could achieve. Meanwhile, Vega and his squadron returned from their mission. Losses were heavy, but the message was clear. Humanity was willing to fight, adapt, and survive no matter the odds. Humanity's tactics had disrupted the enemy's plans and forced them to retreat temporarily. Every pilot knew the cost had been immense, but they also knew that the war was far from over. In New Geneva, the United Earth government convened again. President Amelia Sarkis addressed the nation. "Our fight continues, and we will continue to fight until the overlords know one truth: humans do not surrender." Across the solar system, from Earth to the outer colonies, her words echoed in the hearts of every citizen. Humans had stood against the galaxy's greatest power and had survived. That survival, that courage, had changed everything. As night fell across Mars, Vega looked at the stars. Each point of light seemed to burn with the potential of human resilience. "They think they know us," he whispered to Layla. "They don't. They have no idea what humans can do when we fight for each other for home. Layla nodded. And when they do realize it will be too late. The overlords regrouped, preparing for their next strike. Humanity, battered but unbroken, readied itself for the battles to come. The rising war had begun, and the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. The stage was set for the ultimate showdown, one that would test every ounce of human courage, ingenuity, and determination. The darkness of space was alive with tension. Humanity's fleets, battered but unbroken, gathered at the edge of the Sol system. Thousands of ships, fighting ships, supply vessels, and hidden experimental craft waited in silent formation. The Overlord Armada loomed beyond, a river of black and silver stretching farther than any human eye could see. This was it, the final confrontation. Humanity had fought bravely and cunningly to this point, but the coming battle would test every human soul, every machine, every strategy they had prepared. For the first time in history, the galaxy would witness humans not just surviving, but fighting to dominate. Admiral Liu Wei stood on the bridge of the flagship Dauntless. Around her, officers moved with calm urgency. Holographic displays showed the alien fleet approaching. Every overlord ship was a potential death sentence, every move a test of human ingenuity. She addressed her commanders, her voice steady but filled with fire. The fleet's engines roared to life, energy shields humming, weapons charging. Humanity's secret weapon, the culmination of years of research and ingenuity, was ready. Using captured overlord technology, scientists had created adaptive AI combat systems capable of predicting enemy maneuvers and exploiting weaknesses. Combined with human tactical genius, this made them unpredictable on a scale no alien commander could calculate. Captain Ramon Vega checked his squadron's systems aboard the Valiant. Each pilot knew the stakes. Every move counted, every action might decide the fate of the species. Vega's co-pilot Layla turned to him. "Are we ready for this?" she asked. Vega smiled grimly. "We're always ready. Humanity doesn't fight like anyone else. We survive, we adapt, and we win, no matter what they throw at us." The squadron launched into the void, weaving through asteroid belts and the magnetic fields of gas giants, ready to strike the Overlord fleet's weakest points. Humanity's plan was daring. Rather than engage head-on, they would divide, distract, and destroy critical command nodes, leaving the Armada in confusion. The first phase of the battle erupted near the binary star system of Epsilon Prime. Human fleets used the intense radiation from the twin stars to mask their approach. Overlord scouts were annihilated in surprise attacks, and communications were scrambled by adaptive human technology. The Overlords were already losing control of the battlefield. Vega's squadron spearheaded a strike on a command ship. Energy disruptors disabled its shields, and railguns tore through critical systems. Explosions lit the void, debris spinning like deadly stars. The Overlord ship's crew, trained for discipline, panicked as their systems failed one by one. Vega's team had achieved the impossible, the first real blow to the heart of the alien Armada. Across the battlefield, humans executed a coordinated strike. Fighter squadrons, orbital platforms, and AI-driven drones attacked simultaneously, exploiting every Overlord weakness. Massive railgun shots were timed perfectly with energy pulses, creating cascading destruction in enemy lines. The Overlords' numerical advantage meant little against a species that fought unpredictably, daringly, and with unyielding courage. In the heart of the battle, Vega and Layla took daring risks. Their squadron infiltrated an enemy flagship, targeting its navigation systems and weapon controls. With precision and bravery, they disabled critical nodes, leaving the ship vulnerable. Vega's voice crackled over comms. "Hit it hard, make them remember us." The strike worked. The flagship erupted in a controlled chain reaction, its energy cores destabilizing and creating a massive explosion. Shockwaves tore through the surrounding fleet, disabling dozens of enemy vessels. For the first time, the overlords were truly on the defensive. Meanwhile, the human fleet's central command deployed their ultimate strategy, the gravity trap. Using advanced calculations and orbital engineering, massive stations lured overlord ships into a precise formation around a neutron star. As the alien ships entered, gravitational fields and magnetic pulses tore through their formations, destroying engines, disrupting shields, and leaving them easy targets for human fighters. Humanity's ingenuity stunned the galaxy. They were not only fighting, they were rewriting the rules of war. Every strike, every maneuver showcased human adaptability, courage, and intelligence. Even the neutral species watching from afar began to see the truth. Humans were not to be underestimated. In the Overlord command ship, Supreme Commander Viharek raged. His armada, the most powerful in the galaxy, was crumbling under attacks from a species he had considered primitive. "Impossible," he bellowed. "Every tactic fails. They are smarter than we imagined, more dangerous than we feared." His lieutenants looked on, some trembling, some questioning everything they had believed about the galaxy. For the first time, the overlords faced an opponent that did not bend, did not break, and did not surrender. Humanity was changing the course of galactic history with every strike. On the ground, across Earth and the colonies, people watched the battle unfold. Families huddled around communication feeds, holding their breath as pilots risked everything. Civilians worked tirelessly, repairing ships, managing supplies, and supporting the war effort in every way possible. Humanity's victory was not just the product of elite soldiers, it was the combined strength of an entire species. President Emilia Sarkis addressed the population one last time before the final assault. "Today we strike, and the galaxy will never forget our name." The final confrontation reached its peak. Human fleets launched coordinated attacks on the remaining Overlord armada. Energy blasts tore through shields, railguns shredded hulls, and fighters darted like lightning through enemy ranks. Every maneuver was calculated and daring, every action a testament to human courage. Captain Vega and his squadron led the charge into the heart of the enemy fleet. With the help of adaptive AI systems, they predicted enemy movements, striking where the overlords were weakest. Explosions lit the void, turning the battlefield into a deadly ballet of fire and metal. Vega's voice came over comms, calm and confident. Command structures were collapsing, morale plummeting, and panic spread among their ranks. One by one, their ships were destroyed, captured, or forced to retreat. The invincible armada, once thought unstoppable, now struggled to survive against a species they had underestimated. Even in the midst of chaos, humans showed ingenuity and compassion. Captured alien vessels were studied and repurposed, prisoners were taken for intelligence, and civilian populations were protected wherever possible. Humanity's strength was not just in war, it was in their courage, creativity, and unity. The battle ended near the outer rim of the Sol system. Humanity had survived, and more than that, they had won. The Overlord's armada, broken and humiliated, retreated into deep space. Humanity had not only defended their home, they had reshaped the galaxy's perception of them forever. Captain Vega and Layla watched the last enemy ship disappear into the void. "We did it," Layla whispered. Vega nodded, exhaustion and triumph mixing in his expression. "We survived, we won, and the galaxy knows now, never underestimate humanity." In New Geneva, President Sarkis addressed the citizens once more. "Let the galaxy remember, humans do not surrender. We rise, we defend, and we conquer. The war may be over, but our story has just begun." Across the stars, humans celebrated quietly and solemnly, honoring the bravery and sacrifices of those who had fought and fallen. The solar system was safe, but more importantly, humanity had sent a message to every species. The galaxy had underestimated them, and that mistake would never be repeated. The legend of humanity had begun. From the smallest fighter pilot to the leaders in New Geneva, from scientists to civilians, every human had played a part in shaping history. They had faced impossible odds, survived, and triumphed. Somewhere in the far reaches of space, alien civilizations whispered the name of humanity in fear and awe. And humanity, united and strong, looked to the stars, not with fear but with confidence. The galaxy was vast, full of challenges and full of unknown dangers. But one thing was certain: humans were ready. Captain Vega stared out at the stars, the remnants of the Overlord fleet fading behind them. He smiled quietly as he whispered, "The galaxy will never forget us."